Magandang umaga sa ating lahat. Actually, magandang madaling araw sa akin. It's 3 a.m. And welcome again to another episode of Finance on the Go, hosted by yours truly, of course, Mr. Aris Valoran, aka Mr. Hardinero. And with this episode, mga kagarden, pag-uusapan naman natin ang tungkol sa estate planning. Nosebleed ba? Alam nyo ba na during my RFP class, this is a 12-hour course, dalawang session ito, dalawang araw. Mabuti na lang, ang pogi ng prof namin noon. Just kidding aside, no, on the serious note, I enjoyed a lot because natuto ako about sa will, yung mga last will and testament, about sa mga pamana, about sa marriage, mga settlement, mga ganon, mga ari-arian. That's why I invited a special guest for today, isa pong expert sa usaping ito, to join us at makipagkwentuhan na rin about sa estate planning. So, ang guest natin ngayon mga kagarden, she is a CPA lawyer and a financial planning advocate whose practice is focused on risk management and protection and estate planning and settlement. She is also a Yaman coach, just like me, a consultant of the Personal Finance Advisors Philippines, and a regular lecturer and speaker on estate planning in the Associate Financial Planner Program of the PFA, or the Personal Finance Advisors Philippines, and the Registered Financial Planner Program of the Registered Financial Planner Philippines. Ayan. So she is born and raised in Angeles City, Pampanga, or will I say Angeles City, Pampanga, married to Sir Pino Panotes, Bicolano, a farmer and a senior high school teacher, and a mother of two boys aged 20 and 8 years old. Graduated with a degree of Juris Doctor from the Ateneo de Manila University and graduate of Bachelor of Science, major in accounting from the Assumption College. So without further delay, mga kagarden, ladies and gents, Attorney Maria-Christina Tioseco-Panotes. And hello, Coach!
Hi,
Good morning!
Coach! Good morning. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Alam ko yung iba, baka good evening. Yung iba na may madaling araw sa kanila, katulad niyo, Coach. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
Ayan. Andyan na ang ating... Hi, Dinah! Hi, Daya! Okay, andyan. Meron na tayong makakasama ngayon, Coach, in this nosebleed topic. Actually, dun sa Registered Financial Planning, dun sa RFP course, sabi ko, estate planning, it is isa sa mga pinakamahirap na subject na, pero I enjoy dahil ang dahil palang chismis pagdating sa estate planning.
Oo nga, totoo. Mga parang teleserye, Coach.
Yeah, oo. Kaya nga. Kaya Coach, let's dive in na dun sa topic natin ngayon. So, tingnan nyo, what is estate planning at saka bakit importante ito na we plan for it?
Okay, Coach. Tatanungin kita, no? Pag ba narinig mo yung estate planning, ano bang unang pumapasok sa iyong isipan?
Pag of course, estate. Ari-arian.
Ari-arian, di ba? Ano pa, Coach?
Siyempre, pag may ari-arian, pamana.
Oo. So ako, as you mentioned, I have been giving lectures on estate planning. Pagka tinatanong ko ito dun sa mga nag-a-attend, ang una-una nilang sinasabi is death, kamatayan, di ba? Yan daw ang unang pumapasok sa kanilang isipan. Siyempre, taxes din dahil may babayaran, di ba? So, most of the time, kaya marami hindi ito pinapansin, yung estate planning, dahil ayaw nilang pag-usapan ng kamatayan. Di ba? Sino ba naman ang gustong pag-usapan ng kamatayan? Wala talaga. Kaya, usually, hindi to isang bagay ito sa financial planning na nakakaligtaan or iniiwasan. Pero alam naman natin, maraming bagay tayong iniiwasan, pero yan ang dapat nating pansinin, yan ang dapat nating tutukan. Ano ba ang nangyari? Iba, iniisip nila, pangmayaman lang yan. Di naman ako maraming ari-arian. So bakit ko naman yan gagawin? Wala naman akong paplanuhin, di ba? Pero alam
Mhm.
nyo, no matter how large or modest, all of us have an estate. Meron tayong pag-aari, di ba? Kahit
Tama.
simpleng bagay lang. Yung iba, merong motor, di ba? Meron silang mga sasakyan o kaya na may kahit yung mga mumunting alahas na iniwan sa kanila ng kanilang mga magulang. O meron kang pag-aari. At ang isang bagay na common sa ating lahat is when we die, we do not bring it with us. Naiiwan ito sa mundo, di ba? So,
Yeah.
kailangan natin pagplanuhan. Kasi ano ba ang realidad? Lahat ng ating pag-aari, mga properties natin, kung tutuusin, hindi naman talaga sa atin. Ito ay binigay sa atin para ating pagpayaman, di ba? We are stewards of these properties. We take care
Amen.
of this. We are caretakers of these properties. I think that's
Yes.
one thing that we need to remember, na iiwan natin ito, hindi natin to dadalhin. So, tiga pag ano lang tayo, mga caretakers,
Tagapangalaga. Ayan, tagapangalaga.
tagapangalaga, di ba? So, parte ng stewardship na yon ay iniisip na natin na pag tayo ay yung mamamatay, mawawala na dito sa mundo,
Mhm.
meron tayong pag-iiwanan itong mga properties na ito. So, ang estate planning involves yung determination of how individuals' assets will be preserved, managed, and distributed after death. Diba? So,
Okay. Mhm.
as we all know, lahat naman tayo darating sa punto na yun, di ba? Wala namang
Yeah.
Superman dito na hindi namamatay. Lahat, it's a certainty. It's a
Yeah.
matter of time lang. Kailan mangyayari. Ngayon, ang estate planning we do as early as we can. Kasi hanggang may oras pa tayo na ayusin ang ating mga properties, gawin na natin because we don't know when it will happen, di ba? Pero we
Mhm.
all know it's going to happen. Kaya
Yeah.
kailangan natin yang planuhin. It's very important that we do that. Kasi may
Okay.
kasabihan nga, di ba, Coach, na in this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and
Death.
taxes.
Yeah.
Di ba? Kasama
Galing.
na rin ang taxes doon. Kasi pagka may nangyari sa'yo, when you die, immediately, taxes would be involved because we need to pay this before we can even, our properties can even be transferred to our heirs. Yan
Okay.
yon.
So
Kaya it's very
ibig sabihin,
important.
yan. So ibig sabihin, coach, estate planning itong estate na tinatawag, ito yung buo nating pag-aari. Okay?
Oo.
Either we are single, we are double, ayan, o kahit
Or it's
di ba?
complicated. Di
Or
ba? Ganun pa rin.
complicated. Oh, di ba? May complicated. Okay. So, ngayon,
Oo.
coach, sesegue lang ako ng konti, Kasi napag-uusapan dito, pag ikay namatay, usually may will, yung last will na tinatawag tayo. Palagi natin
Oo.
napapanood natin yan sa mga pelikula. Okay, ano ba itong will at bakit ito importante? At ano yung mga klase-klase ng will na pwede nating ibigay? I'm sure dito sa mga nanonood, paki-press 1 dyan ang meron ng will at press 2 yung mga wala pa. Tignan natin. Ito yung mga nanonood ngayon.
Oo
Ayan,
nga, oo.
paki-comment. Ayan, habang sumasagot si Coach. Ayan, Coach. So, what is will at ano itong mga ito?
Okay. When we say will or last will and testament, this is the legal document that communicates a person's final wishes pertaining to his possessions and yung dependents niya, di ba? It usually enumerates the different properties that the person owns, which is called the testator. Yung nagsulat ng will is the testator. And then, he identifies to whom he wishes to give these properties too upon his death. So, itong last will and testament nito would just be effective upon the death of the testator. Now, there are two kinds of will. Meron tayong tinatawag na holographic will. This
Okay.
is entirely written, dated, and signed by the testator in his own hands. Meaning to say, handwritten ito, coach. Hindi ito tinipe. It is longhand. Nasusulat nung testator itong
Testator.
holographic will. So sa ganitong klaseng will, he doesn't need a witness. Kasi siya lang ang nagsulat nito eh. So, but ito yung aking recommendation. Kasi syempre, since walang witness, no one knows that you have made this will, but please, let another soul know that you have this.
A will.
And
Ayan.
where you kept it. Kung saan mo tinago yung holographic will mo, para naman pag may nangyari sa'yo, alam kung saan hahanapin itong holographic will. At madaling matunton, di ba? The second kind of will is the notarial will or legal will. Ito naman usually, ang daming formalities nito, maraming requirements. Ang usual na nangyayari is the testator asks the help of a lawyer usually to draft this document. So this is typewritten, it's in a formal form, and then pinapa-notaryo ito. So it becomes a public document.
Public document.
Oo. And usually, di ba, sa mga sanay na sanay tayo, sa mga contracts, we only have 2 witnesses. Pero dito sa ganitong klaseng will, notarial will, we have at least 3 witnesses. So, may mga ibang requirements to, hindi lang parang yung ordinary contract. So, it's good to ask the help of a lawyer for you to draft this kind of will.
Ayan. Ang ganda.
Kasi may form na kailangan na masundan.
Na-curious ako dito sa dalawang klase ng will na ito, coach. Especially dun sa holographic will natin. Ito ba, pag sinabi mo dun sa tao, for example, sinabi ko sa asawa ko o sa anak ko, pwede bang i-contest ito, coach, kung sakasakali lang? Maaaring sabihin, namatay sana ako, Then sasabihin, ito yung ginawa ng daddy nyo. Tapos yung binigay na pamanay, hindi pantay, for example lang naman. Kasi dalawang anak ko. Pwede bang i-contest nyo? Ay, hindi totoo yan. Maaaring gawa-gawa nyo lang. May instance ba na gano'n?
Hindi. Kaya nga, coach, pagka may will ka, ang nangyayari dyan is pinoprobate yung will in court. So, if let's say in your will, you appointed someone to be your executor of the will, then ipipresent yan sa court. And then during the probate hearing, dyan ipoprove na yung that the will was made according to the requirements of the law, that it was signed by the testator himself. So yung mga formalities ba, dyan ngayon i-challenge. So kung merong gustong i-protest yung will na sabihin hindi yan totoo or fake yan, hindi yan pirma ni Papa or doon ngayon yan i-discuss doon sa probate ng will.
Okay. Ayan,
And
okay
only
pala.
when that has been established na ito ay genuine, that it conform to the requirements of the law, then doon lang i-distribute according to ano yung nakasulat doon sa will ng testator.
Ayan. Very interesting, mga kagarden. Nakita nyo na why I enjoyed the class kahit 2:00 ng madaling araw. Dito yung class namin sa estate. In the whole RFP course naman. But in the, alam nyo, dito sa estate ko, ang daming chismis. Ang daming chismis akong nalaman. Okay, so let's go sa family ko. Unahin natin yung family ko. Mamaya na yung real estate. Parang mas masaya yung family code kasi we all know that usually magkakaroon ng girian sa mga pamana, mga ganyan, ano. So, dun tayo sa family code, dun muna tayo sa mag-asawa, ano coach.
Okay.
Sabi kasi nila usually dito pag namatay yung isa mapupunta sa isa or di kaya pag may maghihiwalay sila, maraming mga alam niyo mga kuskus balungos na nangyayari. So, ganito ang gawin natin. So, let's break it down yung ating mga tanong. So, unang-una, paki-explain coach yung ano yung relationship, yung property relationship ng isang husband sa wife. Pag nag-asawa na, ano yung mga magiging patakaran sa mga ari-arian nila? For example, ako married. Ano? Ano yung mga mangyayari kung meron silang mga ari-arian? And then
Okay.
pupunta tayo sa mga terminologies mamaya. Isa-isahin natin.
Sige. So ganito, Coach. We have, under the Philippine laws, we have three different kinds of property regime between that can rule the property relationship of the husband and wife. Yung una is yung conjugal partnership of gains.
Mm-hmm.
Ang conjugal partnership of gains, this is applicable to couples who did not enter into any prenuptial agreement and were married before August 3, 1988.
80. Yeah.
This is before the family code. Conjugal
Family code.
partnership of gains yan. So what does it mean, conjugal partnership of gains? What happens, Coach, is pagka kinasal yung couple, whatever they own before they got married remains to be their exclusive property when they get married. Ang magiging conjugal property lang nila would be yung fruits from those properties. And of
Mm.
course, yung kanilang industry, yung if they get into a business or if they're working and they're having receiving salary during their marriage, these are the ones that form part of their common property.
Or
So
or
they share it.
kung nag-purchase sila within the marriage, kung nag-purchase sila ng
Oo, anything
property,
they acquire during the marriage
ay
with
Coach
their
Henry.
um, yung salaries nila, any common
Mhm.
funds becomes their common property. But
Ayan.
of course, anything that they buy with their exclusive properties still remains to be exclusive. Kung ano lang
Yan, okay.
yung they earn together during their marriage and they use that to buy properties, that becomes part of their conjugal property. Now, that's the first one. This is applicable to those who got married before August 3, 1988, and they did not
1988.
enter into any prenuptial agreement. Yung pangalawa is absolute community of property. Sa
Mhm,
absolute
ACP.
community, ACP. Sa absolute community property naman, ang couple who would get married, whatever they own at the time of the point of their marriage becomes commonly owned by both couples. So kung ano yung bit-bit nila into their marriage now becomes co-owned by their spouse. In the same manner, ganun din. Kung anong bit-bit nung kanilang asawa, na pangasawa, yun din ay kanila. So, co-owners na sila of all
Mhm.
their properties.
Okay,
Yan.
ayan, ayan.
Not unlike yung isa, yung conjugal
Sa kanila.
partnership of gains, it still remains yours, yung exclusive property mo. Yun lang fruits nun. For example, yung binigay ko na yung rent or anything that you
Oo,
earn during your marriage, that's the only thing that becomes common.
paghahatian. Yeah.
Pero ito, lahat, walang discrimination. Kung ano yung bit-bit mo, of course, except for your things that you use personally. like your underwear and all that. Siyempre, those are your exclusive property. But everything else becomes owned in common.
Ayan. Coach, excuse lang, sa mga nanonood dyan, kung may mga tanong kayo, kasi ako nag-enjoy para akong nasa RFT class ko eh. Sa mga kwan dyan. Ay, may tanong pala dito. Paano itong tanong ni Goody Hernandez. Sabi niya, balik tayo dun sa will, attorney. Paano po
Okay.
kung nakagawa na ng holographic will yung parent, tapos nasira po yung will? And then
Or,
namatay siya bigla.
namatay na. Nasira. So, wala na. Wala nang kopya nung
Oh yeah,
will.
nasira. Okay. Nakagawa na ng holographic will yung parent, tapos nasira po yung will. And then, sabi niya dito, namatay siya bigla.
Hmm.
Ang tinatanong siguro nito, paano yung magiging
Anong
hatian?
Okay.
Paano magiging hatian ng property?
Kasi para tayo ay makapag-decide on a certain matter, especially in court, di ba? Kailangan ipaprobate mo yung will. Eh kung wala kang maipapakita na will, eh ano ang ipoprobate natin? Hindi naman natin pwedeng hulaan ano yung content ng will, di ba? So, there's nothing to probate. There's no will. It got destroyed. Wala na. So, effectively, para lang rin, wala siyang will. The parent died intestate. Wala siyang will. Considered na walang will yon. Ang dapat sigurong gawin nila, if any of the children knows how the distribution is, kung ano yung contents ng will, ano yung gusto ng magulang nila, eh sila on their own, they should agree on this and then just enter into an extrajudicial settlement of the estate following whatever is the contents. Oo, kung napag-usapan doon sa holographic will ng magulang. So, kasi, syempre, kung ako naman yung judge sa court, ipoprobate natin dito. Hindi ko alam naman akong mag-invento, di ba? Hindi ko alam. Tapos sasabihin, sabi niya ganito, sabi ganito. Unless I have that
Waste
paper,
of time. Yeah, waste
wala.
of time.
Who would I believe, di ba? He
Okay, may
says,
follow.
she says, di ba? Parang wala tayong
Yeah.
doon.
May follow-up dito si Coach Jendi. Sabi niya, mas okay ba, attorney, ang holographic daw, tapos na-notarize? Di ba parang siya yung second na sinasabi mo kanina na, attorney?
Okay. First of all, pag sinabi nating holographic will, no notarization is required. Kaya nga sabi ko, you need to tell someone else kasi that document remains to be like a secret. Ikaw lang kasi when you wrote that, you don't have any witnesses, di ba? Usually. So, yung sinasabi ni Coach Jendi is, what do you mean by holographic na ninotaryo? Di parang naging notarized na siya. So,
Notarized.
notarial will na siya. So, it has become
A public document na.
a public document, notarized. So kailangan nang sundan natin yung yung requirements ng notarial will, which is now you need to have at least 3 witnesses. Kung yung holographic will mo, syempre walang witness, dapat ngayon meron na kasi papanotaryo mo. When you have that document notarized before a notary, dapat the other 3 witnesses are also there present, signing that document before the notary public. At ikaw rin, kayo lahat sama-sama signing it, seeing each other signing that document. So, you now need to follow the requirements for a notarial will pag gano'n ang ginawa mo.
Napaisip tuloy ako, Coach, because one of the purpose of having estate planning is siyempre to minimize yung tax. Di ba?
Yes.
So, doon sa dalawang klase ng will, saan tayo pwedeng makatipid ng estate tax doon?
Okay. Ang will kasi, Coach, does not affect the taxation aspect of estate planning. Sa paggawa ng will, ang nangyari lang doon ay you are specifically identifying who among your heirs do you want to receive a particular property. So, you're enumerating it kung ano yung mga pag-aari mo at kanino mo to ibibigay. The taxes are not affected by you
Okay.
writing that will. It's more of putting some order to your estate. Pag namatay ka, paano i-distribute? But yung taxes doon, it's not minimized by that action. There are other ways to minimize taxes, the estate tax, but not through the will. Ang will is
Okay.
more of prevention of conflict between and among the heirs. Kasi doon, clear how the parent or whoever dies, the decedent, wants to distribute his estate.
Yan. Okay, mga kagarden, gumaganda ang usapan. Gumaganda ang usapan. So balik tayo dun sa ating sa family code kasi para mas ma-enjoy natin lalo na yung mga single na magiging double na later on dito. Ayan, so para maganda. So nag-end tayo sa ACP o yung dun sa absolute community of property. So
Yes.
sabi
The
kanina
next
ni
one,
yes, sige, tuloy mo, attorney.
sabi ko, there are 3, di ba, Coach? So, the third would be complete separation of property, where when the couple get married, ang mangyari is whatever they own still remains to be their own property, exclusive. In the same manner na ganun din yung isang party, no? Both of them, they maintain ownership, management, and control of their own properties before their marriage. So, complete separation. Pati yung earnings nila, ganun din. They keep it separate. So, ang mangyayari yan, they would just have to agree on how they would pay for the bills. Parang may assignment of, maybe they have a common fund where they would get their payment for yung household expenses and other things, enrollments ng mga bata, yung tuition fee, etc.
Sige. Anong kailangan, Coach, para dito sa third na klase, itong separation of property? Anong kailangan para magkaroon ka nito?
This isn't something that happens na automatically. You need to enter into a prenuptial agreement. If this is the kind of property regime you want to have in your marriage, then before you get married, you need to enter into a prenuptial agreement saying na this is the kind of property regime you want, na complete separation. Or pwede rin naman na in your prenuptial agreement, you can agree to have conjugal partnership of gains as the regime for your marriage. Ayaw mo kasi yung absolute community. O baka gusto mo community conjugal partnership of gains, pwede rin. Or any other arrangement that is not against law, morals, public policy, and public order. Basta hindi masama, pwede nyo naman pasukan na agreement yun sa prenuptial agreement.
Ayan. So papasok tayo ngayon dito, attorney, dun sa isang situation na tinanong sa akin dito specifically ng isa nating kaibigan na OFW dito sa Italy. And the situation is, tago na lang natin ang kanyang pangalan sa Maria. So si Maria will get married this coming, kailan ba? Ano bang married ko? July na lang. And meron siyang 2 condominiums and a house and lot. Tapos, ang gusto lang niya is, once she get married, all of her existing properties before marriage will be exclusive lamang sa kanya. So, ano yung gagawin niya? Dito ba yung prenuptial, attorney?
Yes, oo. Dito papasok yung prenuptial agreement. I think first and foremost, she would have to find out from yung kanyang boyfriend
kung gusto niya.
If he is open to enter to a prenuptial agreement. Kasi alam mo, Coach, mahirap din yung mag-aasawa ka, tapos bigla mo na lang gugulatin yung boyfriend mo o girlfriend mo na may ganyan palang arrangement na gusto
Agree.
ka.
Yeah.
Hindi naman pwedeng 1 week before, doon mo lang sasabihin na kapag handa na, di ba? I think this is something that you need to bring up. The moment that you have this intention to marry each other, i-bring up mo na agad yun na are you open to enter into a prenuptial agreement? And then pag-usapan ninyo anong klaseng arrangement ang gusto nyo. Kasi siyempre, it's supposed to be a agreement between the two of
Yeah.
you. So hindi naman pwedeng ikaw lang ang masusunod. Dapat pag-usapan, para rin yung may negotiation. O ito ang aking naisip, gusto kong gawin. Ikaw ba? Ikaw rin, syempre, ikaw lang ba naman ang may property? Baka naman din yung boyfriend
Mayroon.
mo, girlfriend mo, meron din. O ikaw, paano ba gusto mo? Kasi I think it's better that we put this out in the open before we even enter into a life together, di ba? So, ngayon pa lang, bago pa ninyo planuin yung saan ang venue, sinong gagawa ng damit ng bride, hindi,
Bride.
siguro, you have to bring it up kasi it's a sensitive matter. Meron kasi iba na minsan, di na natutuloy ang kasal dahil hindi nag-agree na magkaroon ng ganitong arrangement, di ba? So,
Ito.
it's a sensitive matter.
Ayan. So may tanong ulit si Goody. So sa prenuptial daw, attorney, sa prenuptial agreement po ba dapat siguro dapat may kasamang lawyer or agreement ninyong dalawa?
Oo, kasi ang magdo-draft niyan usually is a lawyer. Para maayos yung
Dito kasi
agreement ninyo, di ba? The lawyer would have to put in the terms of your agreement, kung anong klaseng property regime ang gusto ninyo. Iaayos ng abogado yun. Kasi kailangan din itong mapanotaryo. Kasi it should be a public document. Kasi pagka una ang ano ba ang mga kondisyon, you have to enter into this agreement before you even get married, before the celebration of marriage. So kung kakasal ka, yun, sabi mo July, si Maria July, o di bago pa July, dapat they get into this agreement, magpa-draft na sila nung kanilang prenuptial agreement, and then they would have to sign it, have it notarized, and have it registered in the local civil registry where you celebrated your marriage, and also dun sa mga register of deeds. Kasi para naka-register din doon na ganito yung arrangement ninyo na mag-asawa. This is so it would be effective to third parties. May public notice sa mga later on, pagkakautangan ninyo, they would know na, meron pala silang ganitong arrangement. So, separate sila. So, kung yung utang ni wife, utang lang ni wife, yung utang ni husband, utang lang ni husband. So, hindi ko pwedeng singilin si husband sa utang ni wife. Yung, ganun ba, people would be aware na, okay, merong ganitong arrangement sila. So, ito lang ang risk na kaya kong i-take when I lend them money or yung ganon. So, everything is out there in the open. Alam nung ibang parties.
Ayan. Ang ganda. So, maalala ko tuloy yung kwento dun sa class namin sa RFA. Pero hindi ko na papangalanan kung sinong artista yon. Basta malaking artista ang nangyari. So, tinanong siya nung kanyang kaibigan, meron ba kayong prenuptial agreement? Sabi niya, oo. Nag-smile yung kaibigan niya. Kasi napakaganda ng smile. Tapos sabi niya, hindi ko pinirmahan. Yung smile ng kaibigan niya, biglang... siguro alam mo kung sino sinasabi ko. So, ang nangyari, after how many years, naghiwalay silang dalawa. So, yung isa, dahil malaking tao, big time itong isa, yung isa na lang pag-golf na lang, dahil nga sila ay pumasok doon sa ACP nahati yung kanilang, sabihin na
Oo,
natin kung 500 million yung
property.
net worth nung isa, nahati. So napunta sa kanya yung
Oo.
250. So doon sa nagtanong si Maria, so alam na this, my friend, kung anong gagawin mo. So dapat pinagplaplanuhang mabuti. Hindi yung bigla mong sasabihin baka hindi matuloy ang kasal. Dapat
Oo nga.
sinasabi mo na ngayon. Ayan, di ba, attorney? Ayan. So,
Oo.
gumaganda. Ayan. Sabi nga ni Dayang, gusto ko prenuptial daw. If ever. Kasi yung mga pinaghirapan niya. Itong si Dayang is one of our mentees. Ayan. So, talagang pinapalo natin yan pag hindi sumusunod. So, pag-usapan niyo mabuti, Dayang, kung ano yung gusto niyo gawin. Ayan, moving on, coach. Ang ganda. How about naman pag nagsama sila na hindi kasal? Anong mangyayari sa property relationship nila? Yung mga...
Yung mga complicated.
Oo.
Diba, no? Sa mga ganyang klaseng relationship, where two people decide to live together as husband and wife without benefit of marriage, no, without celebrating wedding, basta if they are both single, meaning there is no impediment for them to get married, then whatever they earn, whatever they buy during their time together, their life together, becomes co-ownership ng dalawa. Even if one of them does not actually contribute to the purchase of that property. Kasi basta yung partner na yon is his effort consisted in taking care and maintaining the care and maintenance of the family and the household, then considered na siya may contribution. So, deemed to be jointly acquired or meron na siyang share dun sa naipundar nila together as
Sabi ni Godi,
husband and wife.
kahit hindi pa talaga kasal.
Yeah,
Sabi nga,
yes. Basta, walang impediment. Hindi
walang
kasal lang
sabit.
isa, walang sabit,
Ito,
walang impediment.
segue tayo ngayon, attorney. Paano pag
Oo.
may sabit? Ayan, paano naman pag may sabit?
Pag naman yung these requirements does not, may isa sa kanila na kasal pa, hindi pa na-annul yung kasal, pero nakisama na sa another person, not his wife or his husband, then ang property relationship nila would only be according to yung contribution ng bawat isa. Actual joint contribution of money, property, or industry becomes owned by them in common only in proportion to their respective shares. Mare, talagang meron siyang na-contribute. So kung may isa dyan, kamuha ng kwento ko nung kanina na yung isa hindi nagtatrabaho but is keeping the house, care and maintenance of the household and the children, dito sa kaso na to, dahil may isang mayroong impediment to marry or maybe both of them have impediments to marry, then ang i-consider lang na co-own would be kung ano lang talaga yung na-contribute. So yung hirap niya sa kakalinis, kakaluto, kakagawa niya sa bahay, hindi yun i-consider. So parang kung wala kang na-contribute, wala kang share dyan. Pero always, there is a presumption that it is co-ownership until proven
Paano naman dun sa hatian ng mana na coach? Balik tayo ulit sa will. Kasi maganda ito eh. Hayan muna natin yung real estate, part 2 na yun. Pag sa hatian, paano na yung hatian? Merong legitimate, saka may illegitimate na for example, nagkaanak sila. Ako, for example, ako na lang, example ko, may dalawa akong anak ngayon. For example, nangaliwa ako. Nagkaroon ako ng dalawang ulit na anak doon sa isa naman. Paano yung magiging hatian na ngayon ng mana? Equivalent to what percentage?
Okay. Yung makukuha ng illegitimate child would be half of what the legitimate child would get. Kalahati ng portion ng makukuha ng lehitimong
Okay, one
anak.
half.
One half. And this portion would be taken from the free portion. So,
Okay.
kung ano lang yung natitira doon sa free portion after satisfying all the legitimes of the compulsory heirs, yun lang ang pagkukuhanan nung ibibigay doon sa illegitimate
Anak.
child.
How about naman, attorney, doon sa aking number 2?
Okay.
ano ang kanyang karapatan?
Si number 2, walang makukuha. Kasi the law specifically prohibits the mistress would get anything from the properties of the
So,
other.
ang karapatan lang niya, attorney, is lumigaya. Yung favorite na term ni Coach Efren.
Oo, di ba? Kaya kung hindi ka
Shout out,
maligaya,
Coach Efren.
huwag mo nang pagtiyagain, di ba? Biro mo, wala ka na mana, tapos di ka pa maligaya. So, naman, di ba?
may tanong ulit interesado si Goody. Paano
Ayan,
kung
si
wala
Goody
nang matira?
talagang madami.
Paano daw kung wala nang natira sa portion, Coach? Di wala na, no?
Wala na. Yun ang nagiging problema na biro mo, kunwari marami siyang legitimate children.
Legitimate, oo.
Tapos may asawa pa siya, yung legitimate spouse. Yung makukuha nun, di ba? Tapos, ang dami pa niya ng illegitimate children. So, yung sasabihin mong half of what a legitimate child gets, lumiliit. Depende sa ano lang yung portion ng free portion. So, pag-aatian lang nila yun. It might be that it's not even going to be half of what the legitimate child gets. Kasi kung ano lang nga yung free portion, yun lang paghahatian ng mga illegitimate children. So, ganun
ayan. Naging interesting, So, magbibigay tayo ng konting situation para sa mga kagarden natin dito na nanonood. Coach, ito naman ako na lang. Example ko, kaming dalawa ni Mrs. Ito, usually nangyayari ito . Ako, me and my wife, Maricel, sabi na lang natin, have a condominium unit and dalawang condominium units namin and then house and lot. And we plan to give this as an inheritance to our only daughter. Kahit saan yung anak ko, daughter na lang. Ang pangalan niya, Sheila. Okay. Pero, noong ipinakilala ni Sheila sa akin yung kanyang boyfriend, sabi ko sa sarili ko, magkaparehas tayo ng dugo. Oy, kilala kita, lulukohin mo ang anak ko. Yan. So, feeling ko, hindi siya mapagkakatiwala ang tao. So, he is not a trustworthy person. So, assuming pa rin na itong si Sheila, siyempre pagbibigyan namin at mahal niya yung kanyang boyfriend, will marry this guy. What will the parents do to protect the inheritance na bibigay nila sa kanilang daughter na just in case magkahiwalay sila, ay walang magiging karapatan itong boyfriend na ito? Kasi alam naman natin na pag naghiwalay sila, 50% will go to the husband. So anong gagawin ng parent para hindi mangyari yun? Makinig mabuti mga kagarden. Mapapalo ang hindi makinig.
Okay. Usually, whether, siyempre, we're talking about the present. So, kung ngayon siya or in the future kakasal, and the child doesn't get into any prenuptial agreement, yung kanyang property regime that will govern their marriage would be absolute community of property.
ACP.
Sa
Yeah.
absolute community of property, ang exclusive property ng mga mag-asawa would be whatever they receive by gratuitous title. So, for
Gratuitous.
example, when we say gratuitous, yung donation or inheritance na minana. So, sa kaso ni Sheila, edi wala kayong ibibigay sa kanya bago siya ikasal. Magbigay kayo sa kanya pag kinasal na siya.
True donation.
O either through donation or when you passed away, mamanahin niya. Diba? By will. So, mamanahin niya. Even without the will, dahil siya yung anak niyo, magmamana siya sa inyo. Legit, siya, compulsory heir siya, primary compulsory. Yung mga matatanggap ni Sheila na through donation or inheritance, this would remain her exclusive property. So, yung asawa niya, walang makukuha doon. This remains to be properties of Sheila.
Basta ang importante, attorney, after ng kasal, hindi before ng kasal.
Kasi kunwari, you donated something to her before the marriage. Edi, niya yun, property na niya.
She's
and
bringing
she brings this to the marriage. Kung hindi naman sila nag-prenuptial agreement, the absolute community of property. Edi yung property na yun ngayon, swerte ni Juan o kung sino yung boyfriend ang naging asawa, ko-own na niya ngayon. So para hindi ganun mangyari, i-delay niyo yung donation. Donate it after her marriage. And donate it only to her, not to the spouses, just to Sheila. Or don't do anything. Wait till you passed away because whatever Sheila would inherit is going to be her exclusive property kasi this is something that she received by gratuitous title during the marriage.
Ang ganda, no? How about ito, Coach? Ito naman, another situation na tinanong sa atin. For example, ganito. Ito, very popular din na nangyayari. Ako naman, dalawa kami ni Mrs. May house and lot, may bahay kami. So, pinamana na namin sa anak namin. So, we feel naman na yung kanyang asawa ay trustworthy naman ngayon. Pero ang nangyari, nung naipamana na namin yan, biglang namatay yung anak namin. So, yung bahay, na-transfer na namin sa pangalan ng anak namin. So, automatically, mapupunta yun sa asawa. So,
ganito, Coach.
Tapos ito pa, Coach, last na lang. Yung asawa niya, nag-asawa naman ng iba. So, anong mangyayari? Paano yung property?
Okay. Kasi ganito yan eh. There are several kinds of heirs, diba? We have our primary compulsory heirs and the secondary compulsory heirs. Sa situation mo kasi, Coach, may anak ba sila? O wala? Nagka-anak ba yung anak mo?
Sabihin natin walang anak. Walang anak.
Kung walang anak, Coach, you are primary heir. Kasi, as I said, there's a primary compulsory heir and there's a secondary compulsory heir. So, sa primary compulsory heirs, these are the children, legitimate children, adopted children, or descendants. Sa secondary compulsory heir, kayo yon, the parents are the secondary compulsory, legitimate parents and ascendants. So in this case, may mamanahin din kayo, may portion kayo doon sa estate ni Sheila. Plus, the husband also gets something. Bilang magulang, ang may inherit ninyo, your legitim, because you have a legitim, is half of the estate. And then the husband gets 1/4 of the estate.
1/4 lang.
The other 1/4 is the free portion. This is if we're talking about
may will.
There's a will. Kasi there's that free portion that now Sheila is free to give to whomever she wants. Pwedeng bigay sa inyo, pwedeng bigay sa husband. Pero kung wala siyang will, ang mangyayari dyan, the estate would be divided among the three of you. Ikaw, the parents and the husband. Ganun siya.
Ayan. So, bibitinin namin kayo. Bibitinin. Mahaba ito. Mahaba-habang kwentuhan ulit sa susunod. Ano mga kagarden? Nabitin ba kayo? Ako nabitin ako eh. Ang dami ko pang mga question eh. So, mga kagarden, bibitinin namin kayo. So, abangan niyo yung next na appearance ni attorney. Sana hindi siya maging busy on the next couple of days para maimbitahan natin ulit para ituloy natin itong kwentuhan na ito. Ang ganda. Hindi pa tayo pupunta doon sa real estate. Marami pang dapat sa real estate. And Coach, so maraming salamat sa iyong oras. Coach, saan ka nila pwedeng i-reach out kung may mag-reach out sa iyo man?
I guess they can email me sa tina.panotes@gmail.com. That's my email address. You can email me there.
Ayan, okay. So, sa mga, ako magpla-plug in na muna ako. Magpla-plug. Sorry, inaantok na ako eh. so sa mga kagarden dyan, sa mga bago dito, please do subscribe sa aking YouTube, sa aking Facebook. Bali napalitan ko na yung Facebook page ko ng Finance on the Go, hindi na Mr. Hardinero. Pero sa YouTube, still Mr. Hardinero. So, kindly click, follow or subscribe to on. And then, if you want to be a transformer, if you want to become a transformatory coach and be a member of what we call the Money Squad, visit the website. Ito yun I will share it sa Empower and Transform. Ito, share ko na lang. Ayan, para makita ng lahat. Okay. Nakikita ba? Ayan. So, bakit yung mukha ko nandun? Wait lang. Itaas natin. Okay, saglit lang. Sorry. Ayan. So ito, this is the website of the Empower and Transform. So all you need to do is just simply email us at info@empowerandtransform.ph. Ayan. So yun ang gagawin. So if you want naman to become a yaman coach katulad namin ni Coach or Attorney Tina, all you need to do, ito naman. I-share ko lang din. Okay, ito. Ayan, ito yung ng aming mentor na si Coach Efren. All you need to do is ask a friend. Or you could visit ito, personalfinance.ph. And I think we will be having the next run next week na yata yan sa masterclass ng PFA. Ayan. So, yun lang mga kapatid. And huwag natin kakalimutan din, please do subscribe sa ating Financial Beshi ng Bayan sa kanyang YouTube channel and Facebook. And Salve says, 10,000 followers na tayo. Yo, congratulations, ma'am. So, ito na. If you want to be... Yeah, if you're looking for a financial planner that's always on the go, look for Mr. Hardinero, the Mr. Finance on the Go guy, and that's me. So bye-bye. Thank you, Coach. Thank you for your time today. Bye, everyone.
Welcome. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming, attending.